Hello and welcome to this episode of Making Connections, the BattleCON analysis show, where I, your host, Marco DeSantos, also known as Mechanically, try my best not to do so badly at playing BattleCON online. In previous two episodes, we kind of explored some Evil Hikaru, talked about how we can use Evil Hikaru, as well as play Evil Hikaru on the show itself. However, Evil Hikaru is now actually available to everyone watching this video. So, if you want to try Evil Hikaru out, please get them from the store. However, for this episode, since we've done so much Evil Hikaru, let's try some of the other characters that I might not have featured heavily on this show just yet. So, without much else to say, let's move on to the game and see who we're going to be playing as for this episode.
Fashion way with excessive violence.
Hello! Welcome back to the video. I felt like I should use Anath, mostly because Evil Hikaru is very popular right now, and Anath is one of the other boss characters that became a legal fighter. Also because Anath didn't actually get her own episode. She actually only got a versus AI episode, and I feel like I should use her in an actual game. So Anath in an actual game can be a bit weird, especially against a character like Evil Hikaru. Evil Hikaru barely has any stats, especially when it comes to priority. He's definitely a slow character. So there's a lot of things that we can do to take advantage of that. So of course, let's get rid of Switch Grasp. We do not get rid of Havoc. If there's anything I've learned, you do not get rid of Havoc. We might actually get rid of Shot. Hold the opponent if the opponent's moved past you. Maybe Abhorrent. Abhorrent Shot might be an okay discard. Or maybe Abhorrent Strike. I want to keep Dodge. Especially because Evil Hikaru can be a bit scary. Yeah, maybe Abhorrent Strike. And Devastation Now. Devastation Now, I find, is actually a really powerful finisher. Okay, so we can start this now. My opponent has discarded. Typical Evil Hikaru discards. Ooh. If we go fast, that actually disables Ultimate Chaos and actually forces my opponent to do a few things. Nah, that's just aspect of Devastation. So Evil Hikaru is a primarily melee character, and all that really means is that Evil Hikaru has a hard time hitting. As far as I know, Dread Havoc should work on beat 1. Especially if my opponent does water. I think even if my opponent does water, this will work. Dread Havoc's really hard to make miss. Yeah, I think this is the correct play.
This is my most evil attack yet.
Here's the tricky play, eh? If I do this, it's actually really tricky for my opponent to work with it. Now, let's just Dread Havoc, because it's like the typical Anath opening. If I get clashed, that's fine. So the only way I get clashed here is actually if my opponent does Ultimate Chaos. And my opponent cannot activate Primordial against me because I am playing my unique base, which Evil Hikaru does not own, and therefore cannot use Primordial with. Okay, whichever token my opponent uses will be the deal. I think with Earth, I actually miss with Dread Havoc. I did not consider this, but we will see. My opponent has done extra power. This scares me as to what my opponent is actually doing. I guess I'll give myself Stun Guard then. Oh, this is great. So my opponent is forced to advance 1 due to Blood Red's effect. So if I advance and then 1... So if I advance 2 spaces with Dread, and then advance 3 with 1, 2, 3.
After 1,000 years,
Alright, Anath, chill!
still waiting.
So I'll be forced to go here. Evil Hikaru will advance 1 space and miss.
You're finished.
Oh wait, I miscalculated. Oh, that's rough. I miscalculated. I should have advanced 1, then advanced 3.
Dawdling does little to hasten the day of judgment.
We want to stay as far from Evil Hikaru as possible. So I could just choose an aspect here. My opponent will be forced to drive... I think I'll pick Aspect of Devastation. I basically like bait my opponent into doing something. So now my opponent's gonna be thinking I'm gonna do strike or something like that. What can you do that hurts? Not a lot, actually. The thing that would hurt the most is probably Pure Evil Burst. So I think I'm okay with Destruction Strike. Then if I get clashed, I just dodge, and I am undodgeable the moment I do that.
Sounds wicked.
This is the problem with inexperienced Anath players like myself. Yeah, had I just advanced 1... Oh no, then my opponent would have hit anyway. So I guess in both situations, I didn't want to do that. So that's fine. I think my opponent's gonna do Primordial Strike. Nope, Pure Evil. Oh my gosh. My opponent with the hard reads, man. Jeepers Creepers.
I strike from the darkness. Primordial chaos ball.
Ouchies.
The storm breaks.
Okay. So this might be a Primordial shot.
Without honor.
It really depends on what Evil Hikaru decides to anti. If it's water, it might be dangerous for me. Oh, this is a dodge then. So I'm gonna pass. Yep. That's fine. I get Havoc back.
Backing up.
Retreat too. If I do this, I pull them into this range. Huh, interesting. I wonder what my opponent's thinking with this move. Well, I will go here and hit my opponent for 3. Pull 2.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought, he says. Hold that thought. I think my opponent will be faster than me. So I'm gonna do this. So I'm expecting a Blood Red Strike, right? This actually clashes Blood Red Strike. Would my opponent Blood Red Drive?
My evil victory is imminent.
I can just Cataclysmic Havoc. Oh my gosh, this token messes up with Havoc's calculations so bad. Well, we just dread Havoc. You know, when you know a character's good attacks, you just play their good attacks. I'm passing and make it seem like I'm dodging. Hopefully my opponent doesn't anti anything. This is a blood red. Yep. Okay, so this means it's good, right? Because my Dread Havoc can still work in this situation. But it really depends on what move my opponent decides to play. Oh my gosh, it's like the exact moves that beat me. It seems like my opponent knows how to fight against Anath decently well. I think I'm always getting hit, no matter what.
The world has waited long enough.
I'll have to advance one all the
Need a better
time.
position.
Oh, my opponent will miss. Okay, that's great. So I advance one.
I strike from the darkness.
My opponent advances two, misses, and then I hit. By retreating one. And then, oh my gosh, I feel like I Galaxy Brained again. Why does fighting Evil Hikaru and playing as Evil Hikaru always result in these Galaxy Brain moments? My gosh. Nope, we do not want the bonus range. Sorry, we do not want the effective stun guard and soak. Not just yet. Though I do wish I had some range. My opponent doesn't actually have anything that will hit. Because if my opponent does pure evil shot, it's actually only priority 1. And this would be a priority 2 attack given my range. I think Destruction Burst is an okay move. I think I beat everything my opponent can do, and this establishes range, right? So, overall, Evil Hikaru's range is kind of trash. With the exception of Devastator. So Devastator can now hit range 4 specifically if he has 3 or more tokens.
This is my most evil attack yet.
So what token will my opponent anti? If it's minus priority, that could be interesting. So pass. Therefore, I shall as well pass. If this is pure evil shot, then that's fine. Oh, it's ultimate chaos. Alright. Okay, so I can strike safely. If my opponent decides to do literally anything, I think I win the beat.
This is my most evil attack.
Does have +1
yet.
priority. My opponent is...
Hesitation does not befit.
Yep, they should be fine. Excellent. So I hit my opponent. I retreat 2 as well. We want to be as far away from Evil Hikaru as possible.
Not the face.
Not the face, not the face. Yeah, sure. Or maybe not.
Hesitation does not befit.
Now let's not change aspect. Or maybe I should have. I probably should have. That was my mistake. Yeah. I should have actually done switch to fire and cash out on this leashing shot. So now what I will do is a very Rook-Yuk thing to do. Is I will play an attack that I know will miss, but will negate anything my opponent does to further his position. Because if my opponent tries to advance in any way, I'll just push them further away.
To be defeated by me.
Yeah. I will definitely anti-power on top of this. That way I push more spaces. So in this way, if my opponent does dodge, my opponent literally has to dodge into a cataclysmic shot or dodge to range 6, where we all know that I'm more comfortable with them being at.
With the armor of malice.
Stun guard. Quite interesting. I know my opponent cannot actually hit me from this range. Specifically, if they have all of these token counts. So I don't know what my opponent is thinking. -1 priority. I see. No, I don't see, actually. What's my opponent doing? Okay. Pure Evil Drive. Was my opponent expecting me to advance or something?
There. Take this.
The added priority was a big mistake. Well, I guess I'll switch sides. Quite unfortunate in my opinion. So now my opponent has all of that junk. Drive would be scary. Yeah, let's switch to Earth. And I'm gonna do a switch dodge on this beat, while my opponent does not have Ultimate Chaos up. That way we can cycle into Grasp, into Strike. I think I'm okay with that. I'm really bad as Anath. Like, let's just make this very clear. I'm not the best Anath player. Oh my gosh. We're advancing 3.
I need a better position.
Primordial Burst. Huh. Oh, my opponent was just trying to not get hit by me, period.
Darkness. Excessive evil toe stomper.
So we keep our current finisher card. We do not swap because I do not want any of the other things. Okay, I think I'm gonna get Ultimate Chaos on this beat. That's fine. Yeah, that's actually fine. Yep, that's actually fine.
I am ready to act.
Are you ready to act, though? Are you sure you are ready to act? Man, this destruction style is really powerful against Evil Hikaru. He wants to get near, but you can't. You just deny him by doing destruction all the time. And in this situation, I'm doing the Rook-Yuk thing again, right? My opponent either has to dodge over me, which will cost them 2 life, or they have to dodge to range 4, and then I'll go to range 6. So hopefully this is a dodge, but most likely this is going to be a Ultimate Chaos. If my opponent antis this, I'm going to anti-Stun Guard. Otherwise, I should be okay. Nope. Blood Red Shot. Alright, so I trade really positively in this case, because my opponent loses 2 life.
Strike from the darkness. I'll wipe that
Hits me
face off
for
your
2.
look.
Okay, I've already... So here's the thing. I've already hit, so I can no longer miss. You know what I mean? Like, I'll go further away from my opponent after doing this. However, since I've already hit, it's not gonna retroactively make me miss. So think about that kind of stuff when you're fighting against Anath. Or using Anath.
Not so different, you and I.
He's not so different, you and I? Uh-huh. Actually, I think I should do Aspect of Devastation and then Burst. So now I have all the range in the world. And I'm gonna do the same thing. So this is the big problem I think what my opponent is experiencing is that they're Evil Hikaru with low tokens, which is good because Evil Hikaru doesn't like regaining tokens. But Evil Hikaru needs at least some of his tokens to function even semi-decently. So I think Cataclysmic Burst is the correct play here. Yeah, if my opponent dodges, they get whacked. Yep, and I will anti-power on top to ensure that this will kill my opponent. That's a lot of effective range. Aspect of Death gives +1 to 3 range. Yeah, so my opponent basically has to hard clash this. Or else they can't do anything. They don't have any of their advanced attacks. I'm gonna power. Power up!
Behold!
Behold! Alright. Alright, Anath, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So let's see if my opponent has parried my attack. Ah, Ultimate Chaos Devastator. Wait, what? Oh, now my opponent's gonna dodge. I see. So I'm gonna shot. This clashes my opponent's dodge. It's a 50-50, right? My opponent can play strike here to clash my shot.
Bring it on!
Nope. Alright, that's curtains. So my opponent's fastest attack. Oh, okay.
I hope you're ready to be defeated
Well,
by me!
I want to drive. So let's just make it... Alright, there you go. Success. I can advance 1 space so that I am at the center. Let's whack Evil Hikaru in the face upside for 4 damage, killing him effectively.
Curses! The power of good was stronger than I could have possibly imagined! How could I lose to the likes of you? Oh! 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 The agony of defeat is upon me! No!
That is still like the best reason to play Evil Hikaru is to just literally hear that lose line every time he loses. Absolute gold. So that was a fun game. Thank you so much, Hybrid, for the wonderful game. Let's move on to the post-game analysis in a bit. Alright, so that pretty much does it. That game was very interesting in my opinion, mostly because I'm a bad Anath player. There were a few beats that I know I could have played better, specifically with my aspects, not playing with my attack pairs nicely. I know, Anath mains do not kill me. However, in the end of the day, I got a few good beats. I was able to Galaxy Brain my way through a bunch of Evil Hikaru's attacks. Again, an awkward character like Evil Hikaru versus an awkward character like Anath can yield some interesting results in that matchup. So that was a very fun game. I think what really won me that game was some of the beats where I was able to quote-unquote Galaxy Brain and hopefully understand this character. I'm not a very good Anath player, and I'm a terrible Evil Hikaru player. So hopefully you guys got to see what it's like when Marco isn't in his complete element per se, like when I'm just floundering about trying to figure out the character. So that pretty much does it for this episode of Making Connections. I hope all of you enjoyed. If you like it, please give me a like, please give me a comment, or just share it with a friend. So without much else to say, don't forget your special action, and thank you, World of Indians. Thank you, and good night.